This week on the iRacing Downshift, Greg loses focus.
I go really blurry. I don't know. Sorry, Cisco, I broke it.
Kevin stays up late.
I went to a concert last night, so I'm a little dragging and my ears are ringing.
And Chris takes a few L's.
Here I was just taking L after L after L after L.
All that and more, so strap in.
Welcome to the iRacing Downshift. I'm your host, Greg West. I'm back with the boys, Kevin Bobbitt and Chris Leone. It is Build Show. I think these are my favorite of all the shows that we do. How are we doing, everybody? What have we been up to? It's been a little over a month because I was gone.
You were on vacation, something like that?
Ish.
Not on vacation, but I called you every day, so is that really vacation?
Yeah.
It's punishment.
Standard operating.
Did you have a good time?
I did. I was in Sweden.
Yeah. Nice.
I was in Sweden with Leslie and her family, and pretty much the happiest place on earth. It was pretty nice. We just bicycled around everywhere and ate fika every day and
very cool.
Fielded calls from Kevin when I was supposed to be on vacation. You know, standard stuff.
We appreciate it.
Good time, a little jet lagged.
That's awesome. I went to a concert last night, so I'm a little dragging and my ears are ringing, but it was a good time. So
hey, you know what they say? If it's too loud, you're too old.
I did not say it was too loud. I enjoy loud music.
You alluded to it a little bit.
But I am, a little tired because I was up past my typical bedtime.
8:30?
Yeah. But no, it was a good time. So always love live music. It was Peter Gabriel, in case anybody cares. But
good stuff.
It was fun. Good stuff. Kind of a classic. The guy's been rocking for a long time, so it's impressive. I think he's 73 years old and still doing live shows at arenas. I'll be happy if I'm getting out of bed when I'm 73.
And Chris, you had fun with traffic this morning, back to school.
I sure did have fun with traffic this morning. I had my I had all my timing set up. I was good to go, and I think that you take any series bottom split and they would have done a better job navigating that school system.
I love that Chris is bothered by back to school traffic and he doesn't even have kids. This is it's awesome.
I have to deal with you two in the pre-show prep. I'm not going to have time for kids.
Okay, you want to get in a pre-show prep? You know what? I was going to let you off the hook. For all those viewers out there.
No, I had to own this, Greg. I had to softball it in for you.
For our 4 fans, I think the running total. Chris did not use bullets in our outline today.
It's unacceptable.
There's not even hyphens or dashes.
Yeah, it's just a jumble of letters.
He did have bold in the 2 headings for this slightly abbreviated show.
Excuse me, 4. There's 4. It's just that
the sign off. Okay,
sign off isn't really a heading.
Sign off is like go away. I mean, it's like, hey, we're done. We did it. Congratulations. Okay, I'll give you 3.5 because the intro is bolded now that I scrolled.
So if this podcast is a disaster, we're blaming Chris, right?
What do you mean?
What we always do. But
if this podcast, is always a disaster. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Chris though, real MVP, because he actually drove to the office today, unlike Kevin and I who are sitting at home. So you do get props there.
I got out of that beautiful mattress that I had delivered immediately after last month's show.
How's that working for you?
Believe me, that beautifully. I am sleeping the best that I have in years.
Right. We need the mattress update. I forgot. You got out early from the last show, right?
It was a genuine struggle to get out of bed this morning because I love that bed too much.
Okay. Well, at least it's because you love the bed too much.
Yes. Yes. It's because of the bed. Don't get full of yourselves and your antagonism skills.
That's the reason I'm here, is just a poke. Let's be honest. Yes. All right. Well, let's get into it. This is once again probably our favorite podcast to do every season. It's the Build Podcast. We get to talk about all the things that we couldn't talk about, but we heavily alluded to over the last 13 weeks, and now it's all here and it's out there. And we survived week 13. Reception's been pretty good. So let's get into it. IMSA GTP lineup for 2023 is complete with the Acura, looks over at notes, ARX-06 GTP, and the Porsche, looks over at notes, 963 GTP. I say that because Chris didn't put the full name in the outline, and I had to look it up.
I'm so sorry that we couldn't remember the digits on the cars we've been promoting for weeks.
There's a lot of stuff in this build, so cut us a little slack. But it's awesome to have all 4 cars, all 4 GTPs in IMSA. IMSA is a great partner, as are these manufacturers. Everybody seems to be buzzing about it. Very well received. Obviously we sort of teased it I don't know, a month ago with a shot of the 2 cars we had with 2 cars under wraps. There were some interesting guesses there. I mean, most people figured it out, but there were, I think the tweet said something like, more IMSA cars coming, but there were some random guesses. Maybe they were just for fun. But anyway, it's nice to have them all. You see them running in the multiple IMSA series we have, right? What do we have? How many of those do we have?
Well, so we have
a short one. We have a long one. Yeah.
Yeah, we've changed some stuff this season. So nice segue. We have combined the European Sprint Series, which runs, the GTPs, the LMP2 and the GT3s, and the IMSA Series, which now runs GTP, LMP2, and GT3. Notice those are the exact same classes. So instead of having 2 series and kind of watering down participation, we combined both series under that A license to just get more people racing, bigger splits, better quality of racing.
And it's a mix of tracks, right?
Yep.
Mix of tracks, mix of European tracks.
Divided down the middle. This is a global series. We're not just doing North American. So it's 6 and 6. 6 North American tracks, 6 global tracks. It will continue to do that. So that will be a nice mix. And we were actually talking with the community manager yesterday and looking at, opportunities for subsequent seasons, making sure that we're covering WEC races, that we're covering IMSA races, anything. If there's a big sports car race in the world, we're going to at least try to represent that in some capacity during that race, the appropriate race week, because it's a global service, and this is these cars run all over the world, and we want to make sure that we're representing that. So pretty excited about that. The community's been fantastic to work with. And as Kevin said, it is 2 series now. We have regular IMSA, the Open Series, which is still the 45-minute series. On the opposite hours, though, we are going with IMSA Fixed, something new. We've not done that before. Those are 35-minute races, which allows you to back-to-back with the open race if you want to. You can use it as a warm-up or whatever. So a little bit shorter, still got a pit, unless people do drastic fuel saving, which sounds like a couple people have figured out. We'll probably be looking into that. But yeah, really, really exciting, and the reception's been great so far.
And the other thing at IMSA is that there's 12 cars now, right?
12 cars, exactly. So
that's kind of a big change.
It's a huge change. I mean, and Greg Hill and company have really been working on the optimization of the sim to allow for quicker load times, and that is great. It is fantastic. You can load in the Nürburgring in like less than 8 minutes now, which is a big. Not only do our members love it, but I can promise you, our developers love it too, because they have to load in and work on those tracks as well. But having 12 cars, having the entire field there, it's incredibly immersive. We're seeing some of the videos. People are using the AI. We saw a couple yesterday on Twitter and racing in the entire AI field, places like Sebring, and it's really cool to see. There
was that crazy pass through turn 1 at Sebring, I think, with GTPs and GT3s. It was awesome. It was
3.5 cars wide.
Yeah. But there's other cars coming that have arrived at IMSA as well, right?
Yep. So we also have the Ferrari 296 GT3. Big shout out to Chris. He put that one in there, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's been really well received as well. Not just with IMSA though. That car it does everything on iRacing. We have it in IMSA. We have it in both of our IMSA series. We have it in both of our GT3 series. We have it in the Ferrari Challenge, which is
one of our 2 to 5. That was interesting when I was watching you count.
I have trouble.
Did you break your fingers when you were sliding?
Yes, I played wide receiver in college, and this finger has been dislocated a couple of times. So yeah,
in fairness, what person who's driven stick in their life hasn't accidentally gone from 2 to 5? Oh, was that just me at Dirtfish? Never mind. Never mind. Sorry.
Going the other way.
Sorry. Bottom split. Yes, much better than money shifting.
Yeah. Don't do it the other way. That's expensive.
Yeah.
But pretty excited about the Ferrari 296. Once again, it's in all kinds of series, and it's made for some really good racing. So we're excited to I think.
Who doesn't like a Ferrari, right? I mean,
everybody loves Ferrari on iRacing. It's amazing. But I mean, if we address the elephant in the room, people will gripe for a long time, and it was a fair charge. Our GT3 class was getting a little long in the tooth. Not anymore. I mean, there are still some outliers, but we have an incredibly modern GT3 class now, and we're really happy about that. Obviously, it's represented very well across IMSA and our GT3 series, but having the new Ferrari for all these series is pretty fantastic. Moving on. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now to our fourth car, and no, we're not done yet. The Super Formula makes its debut on iRacing, and this car, it's kind of slots in speed-wise, for those that don't know, between a Formula 1 car and a Formula 2 car. It is much faster than an F2 car. It has a lot more downforce, and we had the absolute privilege of working with Liam Lawson, who races that car in real life, also has been moonlighting a little bit with some other single-seater series.
They call it a side hustle? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think side hustling, filling in for Danny Rick in the AlphaTauri, doing a great job, by the way. But, he started helping us on that 6 months ago before any of that is happening. And he still, even through all that, found time to, he was doing fuel runs for us. He was very, very involved, and we were incredibly happy with how that car turned out. And that moves into the B slot, the B license. And we have 2 series with that as well. We've got the open series. Those are 35-minute races, open setups. You'll need to change a set of tires. And then we have a sprint series that's 15 minutes. And man, Kevin, have I heard about people having passionate opinions on both sides of this 15-minute sprint series concept. Some people, we want it longer.
That people have opinions on that.
I know, right?
No, wow, okay.
This was a really easy how we came up with this. We have historically struggled getting participation at B-level open wheelers. So we took the most popular format we have that works really well in the Global MX-5 and the Ferrari Challenge, and we did fixed setup 15-minute races. If that doesn't work, nothing's going to work. And so far, so good. We're pretty happy with it. And who knows what the opportunities will be in the future. We're going to take a look at the participation. 2024 is just around the corner. Who knows what we'll do? But I can assure you that car is going to be a staple for a while. If you haven't driven it, absolute blast. You don't have any hybrid to mess with. You don't have many electronics to mess with. You put your foot down and you go. And
it's just wicked fast, right?
Wicked fast.
Just go, right? I like it.
Pretty excited about that. Now onto our fifth car. Now we're going to throw the ball at Chris. 1987 NASCAR Pontiac Grand Prix, Chris, making its debut in the NASCAR Legends Series.
Yep, another 87 car. This is our fourth in the stable. The Ford and Chevy came out first, followed by the Buick a little later, and now we've got the Pontiac. So Dale Jr.'s 1987 dream continues to expand. As you mentioned, the Legends Series. The Pontiac wasn't maybe as widely used as, well, certainly the Ford and Chevy. I think had a few more cars on the grid in 87 than the Buick, but you had great seasons from both Rusty Wallace and Richard Petty in that car. I believe it was Richard's car that we actually scanned to put this together, but it's a blast. I mean, every time that we get another piece of content for that series, it's always a fun time. It always tends to be well received by some of our more experienced oval members that are looking for something that's, kind of that retro challenge to drive, and it's slotted in beautifully. I've only heard good things from the community about that car, and it looks great on track. I think it's my personal favorite as far as the body styles go.
I like these cars because of the liveries. The painters on iRacing bring so much to it, and to see the packs they put together, the AI collections. By the way, all these cars that released, all 5 cars are on AI out of the box. Trying to be better about that. But yeah, the NASCAR Legends cars are the ones I'm the most excited about when I see all the paints that the community puts together, because we have so many talented people that some don't even race. Their whole reason behind iRacing, they just want to add to the community, and that's what's great about our community. Is there's so many different ways to interact with the service. Wow, this sounds like a commercial, but I mean, really, go check out, get on Reddit or whatnot and just check out the liveries. It's really, really cool. And I mentioned AI there. This was a huge build for AI with all of these cars coming out, but there was a lot of other stuff done as well. We're going to bring Cisco in for the man behind the green curtain that you can't see, or maybe you can see. Control board Cisco. You have a new favorite on AI this season, don't you?
Yeah, Camel GT. It's a series that hasn't had amazing participation in the past because it's an older series, but you can relive the glory days of IMSA back in the 80s. So back in the height of turbo whooshing and sunglasses.
The original GTPs,
and
right?
Mustaches.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd actually be a fun race, Kevin, because as Greg mentioned, the GTPs are on AI, so all the GTPs are. So you can race the old GTP against the new GT event. That would be interesting.
We know what Chris is doing in Yes 2 next week.
Yeah.
Week 13, I'm sensing a GTP series.
That'd be fun. Bring the bring the HPD back too. Just a little bit of fun, a little multi-class. Write that down. I bet you see that in a week 13 coming to you very soon. maybe even the Riley.
Blame Cisco since it was his idea.
Yeah, it's Cisco. So we're gonna call it Cisco series. That'll be the new week 13 series.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm quite impressed that Cisco can talk and run that board because there's a lot of buttons and switches on there. Or are you not actually doing anything? You just
I have my mini breakout podcast board that is just conveniently off camera. There it is.
I can actually use that big board.
That's cool.
Yeah, you guys are off the big board completely. You guys are on your own fancy podcast.
Oh, or we're just not cool. We're on the JV board.
We're not important enough to use the big board.
No. Well, we're on the select board.
Yeah,
I use in the Legends Club at the Bruins games. Yeah.
Premium Select.
Yeah, we're Premium Select.
You guys aren't race cars going around a racetrack, so all of this is set up for that, not for you guys. So I had to make your own personal board. It's like your own personal pizza.
Well, that's fantastic. Also, big shout out to Sean Ambrose filling in today and helping.
He's in the back. You can't see him. You can see the monitor on that's back there. He's just back there.
But he's not mic'd up, right?
Oh, I can hear. There you go. He's back there. There he is. Hi, Sean.
There he is. This is like Monday Night Football right now when they go into the booth.
Yep.
It's fantastic. We're new here, guys. Anybody that's watching, we really don't know what we're doing.
MX5 Cup of podcasting.
Yeah, pretty much.
As we say
going back to AI though, so all the new cars, the Audi 90 GTO, the Nissan GTP ZXT. We also have a bunch of new tracks. One thing that's going to be very exciting: every layout of the Nürburgring got added in this build. We didn't have. We think we just had like two, but every layout of the Nürburgring.
You mentioned the Audi GTO. Chris, don't you now have are you the one that showed me the Matchbox? You got one? Or was it Hot Wheels?
No, it's a Hot Wheels. And,
Hot Wheels now makes this car.
Really? Yeah. No, and I got to shout out my buddy Marty Allen because he actually mailed it to me because I haven't been able to find it. But the Audi 90 GTO is die-castable now.
I feel like the guys that run that division of Hot Wheels or Mattel or whoever it is, like there's guys that make cars that are clearly toys, like the fantasy ones and all that, but there's some real car guys that work there because they, I've picked up some totally random race cars that you have to kind of be into racing like hardcore to even like understand. And it's just cool that, every time I'm at Target, I'm like, Laura's going to get something. I'm like, I'll be right back. She's like, oh, here we go.
All I heard is Kevin goes to the toy section while his wife shops for groceries.
Yes, you got it.
That makes two of us, Kevin. Emily's just like, oh God, I'll see you.
Here we go. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go on to tracks. This was such a content-heavy build. It was ridiculous. This one's very exciting. Richard at SimLab, who lives close to this track, has been bothering me, begging, offering bribes for us to rescan Circuit Zandvoort for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. Well, Richard, here you go. Rescan of this track. We almost had it out in time for the Formula One race, which would have been really, really cool. But a complete game changer. One of the oldest circuits that we have on the service is now one of the newest circuits we have on the service. It may have
been the first European track we built, if I remember correctly, which has been a while.
By the way, I flew over Zandvoort on on Sunday. Leslie found it. Yeah. Leslie found it because I was looking for it, and I kind of gave up, and she goes, "It's right there." I was like,
Were there cars on track?
We were at like 25,000 feet.
Oh.
I couldn't.
There were ants on track.
I couldn't find the track, let alone the cars.
You couldn't identify them.
No, could not identify them. What's really cool about the release of Zandvoort, though, or the rescan of Zandvoort, is if you owned old Zandvoort,
it's a rebuild. It's not just a rescan, like the whole thing,
completely.
Right?
Oh my gosh, best looking track in iRacing. Yeah. Has all of the newest technologies that Greg Hill and the entire art team has been developing, and wow, go look at the screenshots. Even if you don't own it and you don't want to purchase it for some reason, you want to see where the direction iRacing's going, go look at the screenshots of Zandvoort and Leidenon and Kern, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. This has been a major step forward in the tech behind iRacing, and really excited to see where this will continue to go. But going back to what I was saying, though, if you owned old Zandvoort, you own new Zandvoort. We're not charging any extra for those that had it. We just want you to go and race on the high banks especially that last
But you
corner.
get the old layout too, right? We kept the old layout.
Right? We kept the old layouts, which are fantastic in something like a Skippy or an FF1600 or an MX5. It's awesome. All right, let's go over to some oval stuff. Kern County Raceway Park. Chris, it has dirt on it sometimes, therefore you have to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my favorite parts about this build for track content, like we just talked about Zandvoort. If you had old Zandvoort, you also have new Zandvoort, which means you've got, 9 layouts now of Zandvoort to be able to play with.
Right. Yep.
And we spelled national correctly now too.
Good to know.
For us.
Yes. Learn to spiel. Kern County is the same way in that if you buy the Kern County package, you get both the paved and dirt oval. And for both of those, there is a 1/4 mile internal oval on each of them. So Kern County is also a 4 layout track. You've got the paved oval that's 1/2 mile that was the replacement for Mesa Marin in that area. Mesa Marin used to be a truck series host for NASCAR, way back in the day. And now Kern County is prominent in the ARCA West schedule. And then the dirt track, which is a little shorter, but still has those same high banks. That's one of the trickiest dirt ovals I think I've found so far out of just everything that we have, but it is a blast. I will say, of course, in typical ES2 fashion, we started running flagpole races on the dirt oval, where you run
as one does.
Yeah, as one does. You run a lap of the big oval, and then you run a lap of the small oval. And
how's that work with race control?
Interestingly,
you got that clear all button ready to go, don't you?
Clear all is mapped to my wheel.
And this is why Chris does not race officials very much.
No,
that would get me in trouble.
Because that's a waste of... Well, no. I mean, as we were talking about at lunch yesterday, I don't think my account is tagged at staff. Because I've had multiple people yell at me that they didn't get their I Let You Win awards from beating me in Rallycross. So I shouldn't have outed myself like that because I was fine with it, but now it's going to get changed.
Well, now that we're talking about this, and Kevin and I were discussing it at lunch yesterday, so 4 years, is Chris off probation now? Can we call him staff?
I think. Should we take a vote? We're going to keep him? All in favor?
So Cisco,
what do you say?
Cisco says no.
He says thumbs down. Oh no.
That's because he wants my job. He wants to be third man on the show.
Oh man.
Yeah, we got a 2/3 majority, so I think we're good.
I think we'll keep you for a little longer. Okay.
Hooray! Statboy was planning a coup. Don't deny it, Cisco.
All I wanted to say, Chris, though, what we were talking about Kern County, but fun fact. That track is the first track where noted iRacer Ryan Vargas got his first couple wins in late medals way back in the day when he first started his racing career. So there you go.
Shout out to Ryan. He's got a busy month ahead, too.
Yes, he does.
I'm just impressed. Cisco from the top rope just coming in.
That's why I called him
random obscure late model knowledge? Yeah, of course I know that.
He's
that was
running
my
the
life
board
for 3 years.
And he's our facts guy, our research guy. So
yeah.
I like it.
Ryan's going over to Europe to race the NASCAR Wheel and Euro series in another of my favorite iRacing tracks over at Oschersleben. So got to shout out that European content. And speaking of that, Greg, I think we got one more track to talk about.
We do. Circuit Lebanon out in France. Really excited about this because this is not your standard sexy tier 1, grade 1 FIA track. This is a more regional track that has a ton of elevation change. If you like blind cresting corners, this is the track for you. Super tight, ton of fun, very technical, and once again, if you're in lower powered cars, this is definitely a place that's going to be a new challenge, even to learn. I remember watching Christian Chalner as we were going through and setting up the track limits on this track, and I forget which turn number it is. The top of the hill left-hander, it's a blind crest. And I watched him go off in the gravel about, 10 or 12 times in a row before I figured out how to do it. It was pretty entertaining. Great opportunity to use active reset, by the way. But circuits like this are really great regionally. Anybody that lives within, probably 100 miles of this knows this track really well. And we're excited to be able to offer something like that. Not just the sexy, FIA grade 1 tracks, but, tracks like this. And it works really well with this new series concept that we've debuted with the FIA this season with the FIA Esports the regional tours. So for those of you that don't know about that, we have divided the world into kind of 4 sections, curiously around our server locations. Go figure. So we have Asia Pacific, which we have the Americas, we have Europe North and Europe South, because there's a lot of tracks in Europe. And on Wednesday and Thursday nights at around 7, 9, and 11 p.m. In those regions, we have limited time slot F4 racing.
Local time, basically. So
local time.
Local time.
Yep, exactly. And it's locked to that server. So even if somebody from the other side of the world joins, it's the goal is to have low latency regional racing using the F4 car, and having a champ. It's like a little hook, a regional championship. We're excited to try this format out. It seems really well received. We had over 1,100 people participate in the first night, which I was pretty excited about. But yeah, circuits like Leyden are going to really add to the depth of series like that, and we're excited to watch that expand. So if you don't know much about it, I think I just gave you the gist, but check out the forums. There's a bunch of posts and a bunch of new forums. Once again, that's the FIA Esports Regional Tours. And on to other new series. We have more. So came out with a new series concept last season called Ringmeister. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's at the Nordschleife 12 weeks in a row, but every week it's a different car. And we crown who is the best all-around Nürburgring driver in a variety of vehicles. That was wildly popular, so it's back. And we've expanded it. And big shout out, Tyler Hudson really was the architect of this series structure, but the concept is called Draft Master. The first 6 weeks of it are at Daytona, second 6 weeks are at Talladega, and we're going through pretty much every major oval car that we have is going to compete in that series. So it's going to be a little bit different. 1 week you might be driving the next gen car. Next week you might be driving the throwback COT Chevy at 240 miles an hour down the backstretch, and then the following week maybe you're in the 87 cars. Who knows? But it's about 20-minute long races. I forget the lap counts, but every couple hours you can have a lot of fun in Draft Master. So go check it out. It is an official series. It's almost like official Carb Cup. So iRating and safety rating are on the line. There's no cautions. So you kind of can lock in about how long of a time commitment you're going to be there.
Don't lose the draft is what you're saying.
Don't lose the draft unless you're expecting the big one and you want to drop back strategically.
Well, that's a strategy too. Yep,
there's a way. There's a lot of ways to win a super speedway race, and we're going to see. I bet Alex and Cole are going to have a few of these for top 10 and probably not top 10.
Probably not top 10 as well.
The guy from the same highlight. The guy from 25th is going to win a race in for top 10, but in not top 10, it's the other 24 people wadding it up and him just meandering his way through. Did I forget anything? Or you guys want to go on esports? You tell me.
You've already gone off script, so I think we got everything. That wasn't on notes. So.
Well, we were going to ask each other, what's your favorite piece of content from this
see, we did forget something.
There's a lot to choose from.
So I asked Kevin this question at lunch yesterday. Every season, we're like, hey, what series are we going to race this season? We make it usually like 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I made it 2 last.
Then work gets in the way.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to try this. I'm going to race the regional tour stuff, mainly because it was my concept, so I have to support it. But I am really excited about that. But man, that Super Formula Sprint series, as I go really blurry.
Wow, what happened?
I don't know. Sorry, Cisco, I broke it. But yeah, the Super Formula Sprint series, I don't see how I could stay away from that. It's short races, really fast car, a great schedule. A lot of for those we didn't mention this, is a all Japanese series in real life, and we're using all the Japanese tracks we have here except Tsukuba because it's just too short. So a lot of opportunity to race some of those tracks. I think that's probably where I'm going to be.
I mean, you're throwing it to me, or
throwing it to you? Sorry, hey Kevin, what are you going to?
What
race?
am I going to do?
You're Kevin, Street Stock staff challenge Street Stock champion from 2 years ago.
I know. I got that on my wall. I mean, on my door at the office. But
no one else really participated.
A win is a win, right?
Why do you think when we do multi-class in Yes 2, I pick a car that nobody wants to drive?
A win. So let it go. But I may try the IMSA series of shorter races because I'm a big fan of the GTP cars. So if I can.
Which one?
Get to some practice. Oh, which car?
Yeah, I mean, I know on the spot, and yes, Kevin, you deal with all of our partners on this, so you can defer this if you want.
I'm going to switch every week. How's that?
That is such a politically correct answer. That's probably crap. What about you, Chris?
Well, as most people know, I have rookie licenses in everything but dirt road, so it'll mostly be hosted for me. But you're going to be surprised.
What if you got out of rookies? Can we pick a license class and see if you can get out of rookies?
I mean,
maybe that's the assignment for the next podcast. Chris has to get promoted.
You want that on the service, though?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. The more people racing, the better.
Yeah.
Can this be a podcast challenge? Man, Chris is gonna hate us by the end of the day.
I should have done that for dirt road.
Let's do a segment. It'll be tracking Chris's progress through the service.
Yeah.
As he gets promoted, as he gets demoted, as he gets suspended. Or what? Not
okay, wait. Do we
never know.
Do we let Chris pick the license class he has to work on? Because he's just gonna say something. Or do we tell him it has to be something asphalt? He can pick whether it goes round and round.
I'll let him pick.
Yeah,
okay.
Oval.
You're gonna do oval?
Yeah, oval.
All right. So what you're gonna go street stocks and go legends to start out.
Legends. I mean, let's go with lower horsepower. Let's go with lower.
We need to next podcast. We need an update on how many races you had, how they went, things like that. So we're gonna need a whole like 3-minute segment.
Yeah, we're gonna need a graphic from Larry.
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. This is what happened.
iRating, safety rating.
Yeah.
This is what I get for never doing throw and go back in the day.
Yeah, well,
it's come around to me.
It was a cool segment. I missed that segment. But Kevin always killed me, so
Kevin we don't do it anymore. You got tired of
losing. Fast.
But no, as far as getting back to the new content, as far as what I'm going to be running and hosted a lot, it's the Super Formula. I love that car. It's probably my new favorite car in the service.
That's awesome.
It is so good. It is.
Cisco, throwing you under the bus. What are you gonna race? Are you gonna race?
I've actually been getting to grips. I just haven't had a lot of time to race, given what we're going to be talking here in the next segment. But
something going on?
Yeah, there's a couple things going on. But the one thing I have been getting to grips with that I want to do more with is the dirt road racing. I'm going to sound like Chris, but to my defense, I haven't really gotten to drive a lot with some of the new updates that have come through, a lot of the work that Tyler and crew have done to get those even closer to reality. So I've been really enjoying that. I had a really great finish in Chris's event about a month ago in the Pro 4, and actually was competitive for once and wasn't the slowest driver on my team. So yeah, that actually has got me kind of excited to do that a little bit more.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right, well, let's go into what's going to keep the entire marketing team very busy for the foreseeable future. Let's go into esports. It's finale season on iRacing. The Coca-Cola eNASCAR iRacing Series Championship 4 is set. Going to be live from the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Kevin, let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, the field is set, right? What do we got? Tucker Minter, Garrett Lowe, Nick Onder, Steven Wilson. Is that right, Chris? Did I get all that right?
Right.
Perfect. So they are all invited to race from the NASCAR Hall of Fame. We did this last year, so it's a live event. There'll be 4 rigs up on stage, lights, cameras, an audience, special guests, VIPs. Otto will be there.
Really big trophy.
Steve Myers will be there. I may show up. It'll be a good time. It's really an amazing event to do this live. But the stuff that's the behind the scenes almost just as interesting, right? Cisco, I mean, you guys have to coordinate so much stuff. You're used to working with primarily virtual cameras and things like that, but you're going to have all the same virtual cameras, showing the race, doing this. But the pre-race show, Countdown to Green, is live from there, I believe, and we'll have cameras that. Not just a webcam on somebody's rig, but there may be a camera walking around the stage filming somebody, things like that. So, Cisco, what are some of the challenges or uniquenesses for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the broadcast from here. So we're in the control room at Chelmsford. So that means there's a lot of routing that has to be done because the event obviously isn't here. It's on location there in downtown Charlotte. So there's a lot of moving chess pieces around. Where's audio coming from? How are we dealing with delays? How are we dealing with what's being piped into the room so we don't feedback the mics? There's so much of that. Plus, we have an hour-long Countdown to Green show. This is one of the 2 times a year that we have the full hour. So we have to chart out content that we're going to be doing for an hour. So we'll do like some awards. We'll do some in-depth interviews. I think Raja Karuth is going to be there, so I hope we get a chance to talk to him again this year. He's had a really fun year this year in the Truck Series. But there's some other special guests there. We have to catch all the candid pictures of all the random important people who are at the event, so that usually means I have a clip of like Kevin that's like 30 seconds long that may or may not be on screen when I go.
You said random important people. I'm just random, so.
But there is an amazing clip that's on screen right now of the cameras catching Kevin looking around just at the spectacle of it. And Kevin, you were there last year, so you can kind of speak to that, of just how much of a spectacle it really is and how cool it is to have an event like that in person.
Yeah, it's amazing to have a crowd. I mean, last year, a lot of the competitors had family members there, family and friends. There's other iRacers. There's still tickets available. You can check that out in the forums. I think Otto posted it, a way to kind of apply for tickets. There's a limited number, but I think there's some still available. So if you're in the Charlotte area, you should try to check it out. It adds a whole nother level of excitement when it's live. And, I imagine the pressure on the drivers is really amped up. Not just because it's live, but one of those four guys is going to win $100,000. So that's some serious cash.
Who's your pick? Do we want to do picks?
I'm not doing a pick. I'm not doing a pick.
No, I'm not. So I'm very far removed from the Coke series. So I feel like I can air this. I got to go with Nick Ottinger on this. He helped us out a ton the last 3 years with the MS Society events. He's a previous champion. He's been there before, but he's helped us so much, and I'm just I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit. Really good guy. I know him. I've gotten to know him through all the MS Society stuff, and so yeah,
he's local too, right? So he's
driving in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they all bring their own rigs, which is cool. It's not just kind of a generic rig. They bring their stuff. They set it up the way they want. They'll be there a day or two ahead of time, making sure it's working. They make sure they're comfortable. I think last year somebody even brought like their little coffee table that they put their keyboard on, just because that's what makes them comfortable. So
wasn't that Kerwin?
I don't recall who had it.
I think that was Wilson actually, because he had his Smithfield pig that he honks during the broadcast because he's hanging out with his sponsors. He knows how to do it right. Absolutely.
It'd be interesting to see if Wilson has an advantage having been through this once already.
Well, they each kind of have their own advantage too, Kevin, because for Wilson, he's been there before. Minter's got the rookie almost innocence to him, to where this is his first time in the series, so it's all new to him. So
he's
maybe
got nothing to lose, right?
He's got nothing to lose.
He doesn't know any better,
it's his first season. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Garrett Lowe is coming off a ton of success and a ton of momentum right now. He actually just won in real life in Virginia this past weekend.
Yes, he did.
And then I mentioned Minter, Wilson's been there, and then Ottinger
who's past champion, right? So,
and he strategied his way to the championship in 2020 at Homestead, and he's had a lot of success at that track before. So they all kind of have their own little boon, but as we found out last year, it doesn't matter. It's a heads-up race at the end of the day.
And the race is back at Homestead, right? Weren't we at Phoenix last year? So
yeah, we were at Phoenix last year. We're back at Homestead. I love racing at that track. It's such a great track to help the drivers sort of find their own lines and be able to really have a great race at the end. Phoenix is a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. It's a little bit harder to have a heads-up race. But hey, they went 4 wide last year for the championship last year, so
yeah,
it's going to be exciting, no doubt.
For sure. And also keep in mind, last year Phoenix and Homestead were flipped, where Homestead was the cutoff race and Phoenix was the finale. So last year we did have a playoff race at Homestead, and Steven Wilson was the winner. So yeah, even though I think he's got the furthest distance to travel to Charlotte, he's the defending winner at the track, and he's the one person who has done this event before. So it's really interesting to see who has what going for them. All four of them, absolutely, as Cisco said, have a ton of momentum one way or the other. We're going to get a worthy champion no matter what, who's had an interesting path to get there. Nick, I think it was 6 pulls before he finally got the victory, but he got it at the perfect time. Garrett Lowe had the chip on his shoulder for the second half of the year and has kind of parlayed that into his best runs of the season the past few races. And Tucker's been just Mr. Big Game. wins his first race ever at Daytona. There's only 3 people who have ever done that. Wins Charlotte, and then wins the cutoff race at Phoenix. I mean, talk about big game performances. There are some people that are just built for that in any sport.
All right, well, going to be a good show. It always is. Looking forward to watching that one. We also have the World of Outlaws late models. By the time this comes out, we'll have a champion, but we don't know who that is yet.
That is true. We're going to the dirt track at Charlotte to finish it up. iRacing.com/WOOLM. We'll have all the details in the race replay at that point. But it's been a great season between all those drivers. Evan C., Logan Rumsey, Kendall Tucker, Blake Majulis. All of them have been staples of that series for the past few years. All of them have visited the winner's circle this year. Really what it comes down to is Evan has been the most consistent driver over the past couple of years, but sometimes, stuff just happens and you have a mistake and it allows people to go get a few points on you. And that was the case at second to last round at Lincoln, allowed Logan Rumsey to make up the gap a little bit. But really, it's still, as of recording, it's still Evan C's championship to lose. So by the time you're hearing this, he may have it locked up. He may have another trip to the World
Final. See how wrong or right
you
are. The next episode.
Chris Stradamus. Chris Stradamus. I'll get the old Johnny Carson hat. How about that?
Okay. I like it. Yeah. Well, throwing it way back. All right, and then we have a lot of series going on. So the Grand Prix series just got underway yesterday. We got 10 weeks of racing with the Dallara IR01, our bespoke chassis that was built during COVID with the folks over at Dallara. Wild car, absolutely wild. And we're bringing some ovals in, right?
We are bringing ovals in for the first time. That car got an update earlier this year to be able to do some of the bigger ovals. So we're going to Texas and Pocono. It's a really interesting schedule. That series took a year off last year. About half of the tracks from the IR01's inaugural season have returned, including the opener from Spa that took place yesterday as of this recording. And a lot of other favorites, certainly Monza's on there. But we've really shifted it up on the schedule. The aforementioned ovals, Jerez in Spain, which is personally one of my favorite, I think, open wheel tracks. So it's going to really be a different series this year than it's ever been before in the Grand Prix side of things. Yeah. I'm really interested to see how they handle some of the drafting racing, though, at the ovals. I mean, I love the IR01 as an oval car. I always have.
Yeah, it's a fun series, fun race to watch yesterday, but it's on Thursdays, so it's a different night for us. So Thursdays, Cisco, am I right? 3 p.m. Eastern. So what is that, like 8 o'clock GMT-ish?
I think it's 5 or 6 plus, so 8, 9, somewhere around there in European time. Yeah.
Check it out at iRacing.com/live. But Thursdays afternoon or evenings. What's that, Craig?
I said, look at the pitch there. Nice. My favorite part about this series is it's the closest road racing you'll ever see at the Drivers' Championship level. It's always really tight. Instead of having people Max Verstappen in the field by 20 seconds, you get a wad of cars then in the lead group, and it comes down to the last lap, and you can see sins, and you can see some elbows out. Great defense. It is entertaining for circuit racing. It's like NASCAR meets circuit racing, and it's carved quite a niche over the last couple of years as far as one of our Drivers' Championships. And yeah, it's one of the most fun series to watch. So definitely check it out. Chris is done with us. He's absolutely
all right. One last bullet. That's not bulleted, but one last idea that we have to cover, right?
Yeah, one last concept. Off-Road Championship wrapped up with Connor Berry. Chris?
Yep. iRacing Off-Road Championship wrapped up its second year. Connor Berry, 2 for 2 in the championship, had another great set of challengers. Keaton Swain, who was also the runner-up last year, but we had a bunch of different rookies that kind of came in, shook things up. We had Joel Blewett come in, won a bunch of different races. We had Parker Retzlaff come over from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, as a matter of fact, and came in and won some races. It was a really interesting shakeup of a season. Jarrett Liebert came in, was also one of the top title contenders, somebody who's run a lot of Road to Pro and has been behind the scenes in eNASCAR. So it was a really interesting mix. You had people coming over from other iRacing Pro series and trying to, have some fun with the off-road trucks. But, some people really adapted pretty well. And most of the season, it was the top 2 returning drivers and 2 rookies. And they were the ones battling in the top 4 the whole season long. So that's really what you like to see from a pro series. But Connor Berry joined some pretty esteemed ranks as one of only a handful of people to have multiple iRacing Pro titles. So congrats to him. I know he was riding pretty high when he went into Real World Crandon to race a Pro Light, coming off of that championship and his second year in a row of taking home a $10,000 check. So congrats to everybody on that series. Appreciate the people in All-Stars who begged me to run the whole Pro 4 season, even though I was just kind of propping up the back of the pack. But I think I think everybody in that series agreed, we don't want to finish last. We need somebody to go do that for us. And I just said, yeah, fine. And yet I didn't finish last in any of the races, so that backfired.
And now you're going to move up your oval license.
Yes. Now I'm going to stop burning off my tires by lap 5.
Do we need a segment name for that? Cisco, you got anything off the top of your head? Something with like some, alliteration maybe?
Leone's Legendary something.
That was pretty good.
Something. Leone's Legendary
License Ladder.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll have something for next one.
Yeah,
and we'll have Larry make a logo.
Oh, and I could make a whole animation for it too, and it could like fly on screen and have a whole.
Oh, but that broke up the alliteration, Cisco. And here I was just taking L after L after L after L.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. That was pretty funny.
I know what I'm doing sometimes.
That's good.
Not often, but sometimes.
Yeah. Bravo.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah. You win. You win the day. Way to bring it home. All right, well, thanks for listening to this episode of the iRacing Downshift. That is an absolute train wreck, I'm sure. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else Chris puts this thing. For Kevin Bobbitt, Chris Leone, Cisco. I can't say your last name, Cisco. I've tried for years.
Cimarroni. Just go Cimarroni.
Cisco Cimarroni and Sean Ambrose on the soundboard.
Yay, Sean.
I'm Greg West, and we'll see you on the track.